On Friday, VP Kamala Harris was down in Florida trying to manipulate people, trying to get people to believe that the state of Florida thinks that being a slave was beneficial, that it was somehow a good thing. And again, that's not what they said. But, man, Kamala Harris, that's the way she's spinning it. And again, man, whatever benefits them, we're going to see more and more of this until the election next year. But hey, guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. Thanks.
The state of Florida, they decided middle school students will be taught that enslaved people benefited from slavery. They insult us in an attempt to gaslight us, and we will not stand for it.
Vice President Kamala Harris making it clear what she thinks of new Black history standards in the state of Florida. Thanks to Ron DeSantis' Board of Education, students will soon learn that, quote, slaves developed skills which in some instances could be applied for their personal benefit, end quote. Gaslighting indeed. Joining me now, Dr. Marvin Dunn, the founder and president of the Miami Center for Racial Justice and professor emeritus at Florida International University. He's also the author of A History of Florida Through Black Eyes. Dr. Dunn, it's an honor to have you join the show this morning. Vice President Harris also said during that speech, let us not be seduced into believing that somehow we will be better if we forget. We'll be better if we remember. We will be stronger if we remember. The answer seems so obvious, Dr. Dunn, but why is DeSantis' slate of hate so hell-bent on erasing the truths?
This is what they do. This is what MSNBC and CNN and whatever, that's what they do. They already lay the groundwork. They assume, oh, he's hateful. He's trying to rewrite history. And that's what they start with. Why is he so hateful? Why is he, trying to rewrite history? What is he thinking? That's the way they start this off. And they assume people like, the VP Kamala Harris is telling the truth. And she's not. And again, man, I'm going to stick up here a clip in a minute showing one of the board members who approved the history standards in Florida. He approved this, and of course he's a black doctor. He approved this, and I'm going to stick that up here in a second for you. So you can hear what he said about Kamala Harris. But this right here is really, guys, man, rewind this back. Watch the way she leads this whole thing in. And again, what they're doing is they're playing with people. They're playing with people, and honestly, man, they're getting weak people to listen to what they're saying. Again, they're able to grab people with this whole empathy thing. We got to be empathetic. Only good people would be on our side, and only bad people would be on their side. That's the way they frame it. And of course, man, that's not the way it is, but that's the way they frame it. And of course, they get weak people that want to be seen as good guys. That's the ones that they get.
There's been a little bit of backlash to these standards that were put out, and like you said, that these were done in open sessions so the public could listen or watch along. What would you say to critics who say these standards have set education back?
Well, I can't answer critics whom I haven't seen or heard. The only criticism I've encountered so far is a single one that was articulated by the vice president, and which was an error. As I stated in my response to the vice president, it was categorically false. It was never said that slavery was beneficial to Africans. What was said, and anyone who reads this will see this with clarity, it is the case that Africans proved resourceful, resilient, and adaptive, and were able to develop skills and aptitudes which served to their benefit, both while enslaved and after enslavement.
So you would say that you're standing by these standards, even though the vice president was very verbose yesterday.
Well, I will repeat to Mr. McCarty that I'm not claiming authorship, but I'm certainly willing to stand behind the work of my members in the task force and to stand behind the collaborative process. I have read, of course, all the standards. I am quite confident in their validity and their historical accuracy and their motivations and intent.
Amid all of this, do you think the wording should be amended?
I do not. No, I think it would be effectively to erase people's history.
Thank you for having me, Katie, because it gives him political leverage with his base. Somehow or another, every time we come around to a presidential election cycle, race becomes an issue. And DeSantis is no different in that regard. And he's been able to maximize fear among the Republican base by particularly attacking Black history in Florida. I looked at the standards that the state now has adopted, and several things struck me as being just absolutely strange. For example, they require, and we'll talk about the personal benefits of slavery in just a moment, but the new standards require the state to teach children that there was slavery in China, in Africa, and Asia. Why are they putting that into a Black history course? They're doing that, Katie, because the DeSantis administration wants people to believe that slavery was everywhere. All societies had slavery. So American slavery wasn't that bad. It was that bad. The unique thing about American slavery that was different from every other practice of slavery in the world was that in American slavery, the slaves were reduced to property. They were chattel property. No other system of slavery did that except American slavery. And then
what he is saying again is just wrong. It's not right. Not in the least, man. Again, nobody's saying that because you were a slave, you were better off being a slave. Nobody's saying that. What they're saying is they learned certain skills when they were slaves so that they could use to benefit themselves once they were freed. And that's true. Again, nobody's saying that, Roman gladiators that were slaves that lived, and again, most of them died, but that lived were if they won their freedom or whatever, man, again, they maybe they acquired the skills to be, a great warrior or something. And again, man, nobody's saying that they were better off being a slave. Nobody is saying it's a good thing to be a slave, but they did acquire that skill to be a good swordsman or something, to be a good fighter. But again, nobody is saying that, it's better off to be a slave than not. They're not saying that. Nobody is saying that being a slavery is a good thing. That's what they're trying to get you to believe. Again, this concept is very dishonest.
Doctor, before I have to let you go, I wanted to ask you this final question. You've written the following. You've written a lot, but this really stuck with me. You said, quote, "No Black person I knew," talking about growing up in Florida, "escaped the impact of the Jim Crow system or the possibility of being killed for no other reason than being Black." Dr. Dunn, how do we teach empathy to our children? How do we teach empathy to the next generation if they have no exposure to what the history, our shared real history was?
That's why I do these Teach the Truth tours. We take high school students and a parent or a grandparent to these places where the blood was shed so that they can experience these places in a very direct way and then share this information with others in their networks. We have to have people feel history. If you de-emotionalize history, you no longer have history. You have a catalog. So for me, taking people, involving people in the places where these things happened and having that become a part of their experience is the way forward. Young people are not stupid. They're not dumb. They can handle these things. And in my view, we need to expose them to that history so that they can make sure we don't repeat it.
Again, man, what he is doing right here is wrong. We have got to understand that we should look at things as a law book. We should look at history as a way of non-emotion. We should. Because again, man, we have got to understand that emotion, for the most part, man, is evil. And it truly is. And again, man, you can get upset. You can say, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Wait a minute, hear me out. Man, again, people, they control people by emotion. That is the way you control people. You get them upset, you get them sad, you get them happy. That is the way that you control people. And again, the way that we need to teach history is just by facts. What happened? What years? What was it that happened? Again, where did they come from? Who, what did they do? That kind of stuff. Man, we don't need to fan the flames of emotion. We don't, because again, that is not the way people need to learn things. They need to understand the facts about something. Again, it didn't happen to you. You weren't even alive during the time. Nobody was. And, again, man, it doesn't matter what it is in history. We need to understand what happened. And that's it. And again, emotion, fan the flames of emotion is not right. That is evil. That is wrong. All you're trying to do is to control people to come to your side, to think the way that you want them to think. And that's the way to do it. Again, if you tell somebody the facts, you're not manipulating them. But you are manipulating them when you get them all upset about something. Which again is what he's advocating. And her talking about being empathetic, we have to teach kids to be empathetic. No, we don't. We need to teach our kids the true history of what happened. All the way around. Again, man, the good, the bad, the ugly. It doesn't matter what happened. We have to teach those facts, and that's it. And we have to teach them as facts. Emotion, right now, emotion, all this, being upset about everything, and being happy and being sad, it's kind of like the new God. And again, whatever happened to logic? Whatever happened to understanding the facts of what happened? And that's it. We don't need to be upset about whatever. We don't need to be happy about whatever. We just have to understand what happened. That's it. So again, we don't need to teach empathy. Because again, if you're going in there with the goal of teaching empathy, you're trying to manipulate. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to manipulate the kids to think, to believe the way you do. Well, I'm just teaching you to be more empathetic. No, you're teaching them to think the way that you think. And that is wrong. That is, again, by its very nature, manipulation. So again, we don't need to teach people to be more empathetic. We don't. I've been told over and over again, man, again, oh yeah, you gotta be more compassionate with this, or you gotta be more empathetic with this, or you gotta be... Why? So I can be more like you? So I can be all upset? I don't want to. I want to enjoy my evening. I want to enjoy my afternoon. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Again, tell me what happened. Tell me the facts of what happened. I will make up my own mind about whether I'm going to get upset about something and lose my damn mind. Leave me alone. Again, that's the way we need to teach our kids. Teach them the facts and then lead them be. And again, man, if we do the right thing, which again, that is the right thing, people will be empathetic out of the goodness of their hearts, of doing the right thing, but they won't be emotional. They won't be all upset and sad and mad and whatever else, man. Again, they'll understand this was something that happened years ago that wasn't right. And again, they'll move on from that. But hey guys, if you would, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below.
You son of a